even though we are still over a year and a half away from the next federal election, the pollsters are out there engaging the temperature of Canadians, and things are not looking well for Justin Trudeau's Liberals. Hello, I'm Adrienne Batra. With me are Warren Kinsella and Brian Lilley. Warren, I feel that you are somewhere. The current prime minister has been a few times, has spent a lot of our tax dollars. What are you there just doing some reconnaissance to see for
I'm
his
doing
next
some
vacation?
research. I'm doing research for our newspaper. This is beautiful Treasure Beach in Jamaica. It's owned by a Canadian Jamaican citizen, very successful guy. And so I'm down here doing research. Well, no, not really. But yes, the Prime Minister loves Jamaica. He comes here quite often. And then I think the polls are suggesting Canadians would like him to come here and stay as much as possible. And they don't want him to come back because the polling this morning showed, and I think this is the first time that this has happened with Abacus. Abacus, a pollster that the Trudeau government uses themselves, or at least they used to, showed that the gap is 20-0 between the Tories and the Liberals. That is a pounding at a historic level. And that's why I think a lot of people are encouraging Mr. Trudeau to extend his stay in Jamaica.
Brian, it's so significant. And I know our viewers can go back and look at videos the three of us have done maybe even 6 months ago. But these are the numbers that we're hovering around, over a 20-point gap. And this latest in Abacus does show, you know, I almost feel like we're repeating ourselves, that things are getting baked in, but they really are at this point.
Well, they appear to be baked in, Adrienne, but, you know, we've had Liberals for the last week saying nanos, but nanos, look at the nanos poll. Why aren't you writing it up? They're, you know, storming back. Well, no, guys, you're not. Nanos has them at 12-point gap. So I think it's like 39 to 27 or 38 to 26. I forget, but it's a 12-point gap. At that point, you are still losing, and the Conservatives are still getting a majority. It's just a question of how big a majority. Canadians are buying Pierre Poilievre. They just don't know how much Pierre Poilievre they want to buy yet. So is it 12 points? Is it 20 points? Daryl Bricker, you know, polling expert with Ipsos, he says it's about a 15-point gap when you look at all the polls. Okay, that's still a massive majority. But what's interesting in this Abacus poll is that it's 20-point gap between the Conservatives and the Liberals. 44 for the Conservatives, 24 for the Liberals. The NDP's down at 17. Conventional wisdom says for the Conservatives to do well, the NDP has to be strong. That's not happening right now. NDP voters are going to the Conservatives and Poilievre. Liberal voters are going to the Conservatives and Poilievre. Question is, do they stay there?
We've certainly seen that happen in the province of Ontario, Warren, where NDP supporters, traditional NDP supporters, looked at Doug Ford's government and felt that they were far more representative of the average person, the working class out there. And so they parked their vote with Doug Ford. Pierre Poilievre seemingly has a bit of a similar bump in that regard. But what's interesting is that you recently wrote about the fact that if Trudeau leaves, this sort of upends many things for the Conservatives, and things don't look as successful for them electorally if Trudeau leaves. So here's your opportunity again to tell us why you think Justin Trudeau is leaving.
Well, I did a little poll online, completely unscientific, and said, okay, for all of you Conservative voters who are on my X feed, why are you voting Conservative? Is it because you're against Trudeau? Is it because you're for Pierre? Is it, you know, a little bit of both, but mainly against Trudeau, or a little bit of both and mainly for Poilievre? Overwhelmingly, and I'm getting close to 4,000 votes as of this morning, the answer was they're against Trudeau. The big motivator in this very unscientific vote reflects what my gut has been telling me for a while, is a lot of people don't know Poilievre yet. That's not his fault. When you're an opposition leader, you're just not as well known as a prime minister. So it's not that they've got a holdback about him. The motivating factor for voting Conservative for a significant chunk, who knows exactly how many, is that they're against Trudeau. So, if you're a liberal, if you're at all interested in preserving your party's brand over the next 15 years, you want Trudeau to go. And what is the impact then? And so I looked at historically what happened with Turner and Chrétien and Campbell and Harper and so on. Every time there is a leadership change, even with poor old Michael Ignatieff, every time there's a leadership change, you do get a honeymoon. There's been studies shown that some people get honeymoons that last 12 months. In the case of Chrétien, it practically lasted 10 years. So you do get a honeymoon if you're a new leader.
Mm-hmm.
And I think whoever the next liberal leader is, if Trudeau leaves, they're going to get some kind of a bump, and it's going to take it out of the Tory number.
Well, picking up on that, and last word to you on this, Brian. Poilievre has already said it's going to be Mark Carney. He pronounced that in the House the other day when he was asking a question to Justin Trudeau. He said, your successor, the next leader of the Liberal Party, Mark Carney, has said this about the economy. Do you agree or disagree, or whatever the case may be? But certainly we've heard of some Liberal MPs that are organizing, getting ready, and all of this stuff. But I think you and I are still on the same page that Trudeau's not going anywhere.
I don't think so. I'll explain why in a moment. But I agree with Warren. If he does leave, that changes everything, because the motivation to get rid of Trudeau is gone. So do the voters stay with Poilievre? Events can change everything. Beyond my usual maximum of voters are fickle, polls can change, campaigns matter. Events, events, dear boy, events. So yeah, if Trudeau leaves and you get Chrystia Freeland in there, I don't think anything changes. I think she's too close to him. You get someone like Mark Carney, as Warren calls him, Ignatieff with a pocket calculator. Maybe things change, but he's not a great communicator. Not to the average person. That I've told you before. That is his weakness, as someone that covered him extensively during the 2008-2009 financial crisis. He has difficulty speaking like an average person. He lives too much in the rarefied air. But I still believe that Justin Trudeau wants to stay. He has a messianic complex. He believes only he can defend Canada from Pierre Poilievre. Only he can protect Canada from misinformation and disinformation, which, by the way, is any story he doesn't like. So he wants to stick around for these things, is my view. And it's going to be difficult for him to hang up, no matter how bad the polls get.
Well, let us know what you think in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and go to the TorontoSun.com. You're going to find commentary and coverage there you will not find anywhere else.